Hülkenberg. Then we have Kimi Antonelli and Lawson. Very warm welcome to you all. Hulk, let's start with you. Congratulations on that P5 last time out in Spain. Your best results since 2019. Sauber's best since 2022. Just for what is a transitional year for the team, just how important was that result?
Well, look, any result, especially one like this, it's very welcome, very positive. Obviously, it's been a bit of a difficult and dry patch, all the races between Melbourne and Barcelona. So obviously that was, of course, very successful, very positive for us, for the the morale and everything. We introduced an update in Barcelona, which really had a big impact and just made us perform a lot better. Obviously the race circumstances, the late safety car, Kimi dropping out, we got a little bit lucky with some of the circumstances, or they played into our hand. But I also feel we were just on merit. The pace was decent, was points worthy, and obviously very happy we were able to capitalize in a way like that.
Was that performance track specific, or do you think it'll carry everywhere?
I will see about that. I think Barcelona is definitely very high speed circuit, and here it's a total different story. Much more low speed, a bumpy circuit, big curbs, so it could be quite different. So we kind of need to verify and wait and see a little bit how it works here.
All right, thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Kimi, let's come to you now. That triple header was pretty rough on your side of the Mercedes garage. What have you learnt over the past 3 races?
Well, I mean, it's been quite a tough triple header on my side, and especially because performance-wise, I think on my side I didn't do that well, and then we had also a couple of issues. But overall, I think was still a very big learning on my side, especially on how to manage busier weekends, and especially Imola was incredible in terms of business, and also first time in front of the home crowd, and definitely didn't manage things the best way. But overall, it's been quite tough, not the way I wanted, but luckily, after these 3 difficult weekends, we had a week off, and now I feel ready to be back on track tomorrow.
Kimi, tell us some more about your own performance. You say it was frustrating you a little bit, because prior to your improvement race to race had been fairly linear. What was holding you back at those 3 races?
I think, first of all, the new C6, Imola and Monaco, I've been struggling to find the consistency in the tire, just to find a consistent performance of the tire. I mean, the C6 seems to be a super picky tire, and it's really difficult to put in the right window already from the outlap, and that's what I've been struggling. I mean, in Imola, I was having such a swing of performances between session. I mean, in FP3 in Imola, I remember we were up there, and then in qualifying I lost from all of a sudden 5-6 tenths on compared to P3. So I've been really struggling to understand the tire and to put in the right window, and that took some confidence away. And that's why I feel in Barcelona it was nice to kind of get back into the rhythm, but at the same time I feel like, especially at the start of the session, it took me too long to get into the rhythm. But that was also because I had a really 2 difficult qualifyings in the previous 2 events. So definitely I think that was the main issue.
And with the C6 being back here in Montreal, do you feel you're going to be on top of it now?
Well, I've been, during the week, the week we had off, been spending a couple of days at the factory doing some sim work, and then also trying to analyze the C6, analyze when it went well, why I was able to strike the performance, and when it went bad, what I did different. And I've been understanding quite a few things. So obviously Montreal is a completely different track, close tarmac, a lot of low speed, and also quite cold eventually. So I've been trying to really work on in order to have a better idea, so I know how to behave better, especially this weekend.
All right, best of luck. Thank you for that. Liam, let's come to you now. How much confidence do you and the team have coming into this weekend? Because it was a very strong race for the team last year. Daniel Ricciardo qualifying 5th, racing to 8th.
It's definitely it's good to know that obviously the car was fast here last year, but at the same time, it's quite often now that we look at last year's results, and to be honest, they don't repeat themselves a lot of the time. So tracks that maybe we haven't been strong at, we've actually been strong at this year, and vice versa. So I think we just have to take it like any weekends. For me personally, it's a track that I'm very excited for. It's an iconic place. It looks like a fun track, and yeah, it's something that's. I actually spoke to Daniel last week about this track, and he loved it. And so yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Did Daniel give you any tips?
Use lots of curb. That's probably the main one. It's just yeah, it's a track where, as drivers, it's a bit unique compared to most tracks that we drive on. It can be quite bumpy, and obviously there is a lot of curbs around it. So yeah, I think it's unique. It's something that we all, I think, enjoy, and I'm looking forward to it.
It's a great racing track as well, isn't it? And a place where you can get your elbows out. And you've been pretty good at that this year. Quite aggressive on track on occasion. Nico in Bahrain, for example. Are you looking forward to that aspect of it here?
Oh, I got a penalty for. I think I got a penalty for. But yeah, but I've had a few of those, so need to cut back on them. Yeah, it is a track that creates racing, I think, which is cool. Having double DRS zones behind each other always creates that. Having big braking zones into like hairpin corners. So yeah, and obviously the weather here as well. It looks right at the moment, but in the past it's changed very, very quickly. So we have to be on top of it.
All right, good luck with that.
Thank
Let's now open this to the floor. We'll start with the broadcasters. David.
David Croft, Sky Sports F1. Question to all three, although one of you wouldn't qualify anyway, but I'd like your opinion, Nico, nonetheless. If you can't vote for yourself as Rookie of the Year so far, who would you vote for as Rookie of the Year? That's why, Nico, you wouldn't qualify. But I'd like your opinion. Who would you say is Rookie of the Year so far, if it's not you?
Well, I think Ajar has been quite impressive. You know, I think also his qualifying form has been quite strong. And so I will go for him because he's definitely been up there and he's been doing good, and so definitely will go for him.
Liam?
Honestly, yeah, I have to agree, honestly. And obviously I'm the guy that gets to go up against him and see all of it. So he's done a really, really good job this year, and especially in qualifying. His form in especially over the last couple of triple headers has been very, very strong. So yeah, he's been doing a really good job.
Yeah, I agree with them. You know, Isaac has definitely has a very good run so far this season. The car is strong too, though, which obviously is always, you know, it helps. But, you know, to be honest, if I look at all of them and they're all doing a pretty decent and good job, you know, regardless of where you are on the grid. But if I think back of my first year and how troubled it was and look at them and think, like, you know, they're all pretty good.
Troubled until you got to Brazil. Right, next one, please. Mara.
Mara, Sky Sport Italy. Question to Kimi. Kimi, it's clear that your car doesn't like a summer temperature. Here, do you expect as a team to be more part of the game? And how much personally do you need a linear weekend?
Well, for sure, we need a linear weekend because it's been a difficult triple header. Back to colder temperatures. I mean, last year, Mercedes here was super, super strong. This year, to be honest, it's been quite different. I mean, quite unusual because sometimes in places even like Bahrain, not really in my case, but George was, the car was quick, and there it was not that cold. But obviously with colder temperatures, our car always goes pretty well. So, obviously it's a bit similar to what Liam said also before. This year we've been strong in places where last year the car had been struggling massively, and in other places we've been a bit less strong. But I think it's all, it's very important to find the right window, because obviously, these cars are very picky, and to find the right window with the balance can make a really big difference. So I think, it's going to be really important to find the right way with the setup in order to be able to progress during the weekend, and then we'll try to build from there. But I'm super confident with the team. I mean, they're doing a really great job. There's a good atmosphere, and they're really, trying to put the best car on track. And now it's down to me to do the rest.
Thank you. Any more from the broadcasters? Yep.
Daniel Goggi, Servus TV. Question to Kimi. Kimi, we saw you a lot with your dad father around the paddock. When he's on site, especially on the race weekends, when and what do you speak about? Is it in the evenings? What do you guys talk?
Well, my dad is a great rock. He's a big rock for me. I mean, he's been there. He's been teaching me everything since I was very little, since karting. And, I feel it's very important to have someone like him at the track, especially in my first season in F1, because it's a completely new world, super intense and difficult as well. And, I faced 3 really difficult weekends, and I have to be honest, on the mental side, it's not been easy, because here it's like being in a water full of shark, and if you don't perform, you get eaten by the sharks. So it's really important to be on top of it, and I think having him helps to stay sharp, to stay focused, And yeah, I mean, we talk about anything, to be honest. We talk about, we watch onboards together, and then we rewatch replays from previous year. And yeah, we try to analyze stuff in order to, have a better idea and try to improve for the next session.
Thank you for that. Any more from the broadcasters? If not, we will go to the written media, please. Who's next?
Alexis Bélanger-Champagne, La Presse Canadienne. Question for Nico. You mentioned you were talking about your first year in F1 a bit earlier. When you look back and compared to today, what do you feel might be easier for a driver coming into F1 in 2025, and what might be harder for a new driver? Thank you.
Yeah, good question. Well, on the car side, on the technical side, for example, back then it was a lot more open. You had a lot more options still on setup, even gear ratios, weight distribution. There was even more things to play with and to understand and to get your head around. So I think maybe there was another level of complexity back in the day then. Now, on the other side, definitely, F1, has grown a lot. It's a much bigger stage. There's more attention. There's more screening going on. So it's definitely on that side. I think it's harder, when you come now with how the sport has developed and grown. It was a bit smaller and a bit more chilled back then, and not so international, let's say.
Are the cars harder to drive today than they were back in 2010? Are they more nervous?
I'm not sure, to be honest. I don't know. Some moments I think yes, some moments I think absolutely not. I think, these cars are really quick. There is a lot of downforce, and sometimes, it feels very safe. And if you look at a lot of the races, we don't have that many incidents nowadays. There's not many yellow flags, or if there's an incident, it's usually a big one, because, these cars snap, and it's usually, it goes in a big way. And I don't know, back then in 2010, I don't know, it was different in a way. It's hard to explain.
More agile, the car. Much more
yeah,
agile.
it was short, smaller, lighter, different dynamic.
Kimi, what's the oldest F1 car you've driven? Have you driven a 2010 spec car?
No, I would love to try, just to feel the weight difference. I mean, looking at the onboards, the car looks super agile. A bit, moving quite a bit into the corner, but it looked fun to drive. And
You've been watching a lot of onboards, huh?
yeah, a lot. Yeah, and these cars, as Nico said, a lot of downforce, a bit heavier, and I feel like the downforce is playing such a big role in these cars. Back then, there was a bit less downforce, much smaller car. I mean, not long ago I went to the Heritage, Mercedes Heritage, and there were all the cars, and I could see the difference in size between 2010 and this year's car. It's massive. But definitely, I would love to try. Also to hear the V8. I think that was nice as well.
Thanks for that. All right, where are we going next?
Question from Miko, Stu Cowan, Montreal Gazette. Lewis was talking earlier about the new F1 movie and how he had worked with Brad Pitt and whatnot, and the drivers got a preview of it. I'm just wondering what your thoughts were of it and how you think this can help grow the sport. Yeah,
well, we'll see how it grows the sport more even, but I think it's obviously interesting and nice, to get a glimpse already or to see it. I think the public is going to like it. I think they've captured, again, more angles, of the industry, of what teams and drivers do, how much goes into it, especially also, preparation time and after the races and between races. So, personally, I thought, I liked it. It was pretty cool.
Can I bring in the other two on the movie? What did you make of it?
No, I think not a lot more to add on what Nico said. I think they capture all the moments. They capture moments when you're in the grid, but also what's going on behind scenes after in between races, all the preparation that is needed, not only physically but mentally, also media side. So I think they really capture our world, and I think for the public, as Nico said, is gonna like it.
Yeah, honestly, not too much to add. I think, especially maybe for anybody who's not followed the sport in the past or isn't into Formula One, I think it's going to probably bring in more fans, I would say, which is obviously good. I think the shots of the cars as well, obviously without giving too much away, it was, I'm not sure what the word is, but, impressive, yeah, but it's immersive, let's say. So, it was cool.
Thanks all. Yes, let's go to the back now.
It's Olivier Larange from La Presse in Montreal. Question for Kimi. A couple of minutes ago, you were talking about the world of sharks you're navigating through right now. How do you find the balance so far in your really early career, the balance between learning and discovering this whole new performance level and still not being intimidated or eaten by the so-called sharks?
Of course, it's not easy, and what I've been learning a lot is since the start you have to be on top of the game. It's FP1, because then you find yourself a bit in the back foot, and most of the time it's hard to recover from there. So I think overall there's no reason why I would be intimidated by the other drivers. Of course, it's great to race an F1 with the other best 19 drivers, and some of them have written the history of the sport. So as a driver, even though it's my rookie season, it's really exciting to go against these kind of drivers, and it's really exciting to go against the other drivers because it's a way for me to test my skills and to challenge myself and to see what I can do. At the same time, as it's my first year, I have a lot to learn, a lot of scenarios to experience, and a lot of situations to face. And the triple header, even though it's not been the nicest one, was still a massive learning for me, because for the first time I faced difficult moments this year, real difficult moments where performance was not really coming, really had the right confidence, also because I was struggling with the tire. So I think it's been a really good lesson, and definitely I know much better how to react for the future.
Thank you. Thanks for that. Any more on the floor? Yes, please.
Kramer, Radio-Canada. Question is for Nico. We were talking a minute ago about the differences between cars of this generation and the previous generations. In 26, next year we're going back to a little bit smaller cars. I was wondering if you have any feelings towards the next generation. Have you tried the simulator? How do you feel about where F1 is going?
No, I didn't have too many points of contact yet with the new next year's generation of cars. It's all pretty much theory and on paper for me right now. I mean, we all know, that it will change, and I think it's probably going to be quite different. Yeah, I think it's going to be, for everyone relearning things. It's going to be a very steep learning curve, especially the first couple of months of the season. Relearning, getting your head around these regulations, and optimizing it and finding the sweet spot. Other than that, I don't know. Just speculating right now how it's going to be or feel.
Okay, thank you for that. Yes, another one.
Sahil Kapoor, NBC. Question for Kimi. Second in the Constructors' Championship, Ferrari has pulled just a little bit ahead. Your thoughts on that battle between now and the rest of the year? How easy or challenging do you think it'll be to beat Ferrari?
It's going to be very challenging, I'm sure, because they've been fairly strong in the past few races. And, I think it's really important on my side to bring back the performance. Because, obviously George is doing a really great job. And I think, on my side, the past 3 races I haven't performed as I should have. Obviously, I was very, very unhappy how I performed. So I think on my side, it's going to be really important to be back on the right form, and in order to get back that second position. And I think what's going to be really important to be consistent, to bring consistently performance, good result. And then together with the team, trying to do the best job as possible, trying to improve the car as much as possible, and on my side, trying to develop race after race. And I think it's not going to be easy, of course. But I think if we work well, it's something that we can definitely achieve for the end of the year.
Thank you, Kimi. More? If there are more, we will leave it there, guys. Thank you very much. Best of luck this weekend. Thank you.